So Joe Rogan just entered the chat and he is team Justin Baldoni. She's using it to assert control over Justin Baldoni, destroy his life. Essentially, it was destroying his family, his health, and everything else.
Blake Lively is not who you think she is. For years, her fans adored her as a bright, glamorous star, a Hollywood power player who seemed to have it all. Yet behind that polished image lies a storm, threatening her marriage to Ryan Reynolds and the narrative they've spun about being the perfect couple. The most surprising twist? Joe Rogan himself just jumped into the drama, choosing sides in a scandal involving massive lawsuits, alleged manipulation, and a mountain of receipts courtesy of Justin Baldoni.
This is what you get trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise.
They're fucked.
The whole thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times.
It might be easy to dismiss this as another overhyped celebrity spat, but Rogan's involvement changes everything. With tens of millions of listeners, he's more than a commentator. He's a cultural force. When he declared he believes Justin Baldoni is being railroaded by Blake and Ryan, it lit up the internet. Suddenly, this wasn't just a rumor, it was a public spectacle, with Rogan all but shouting, "You need to see the truth behind Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds."
Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they fucked up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you are a key part of this.
This is what you get, though.
Joe Rogan rarely minces words. He's known for his blunt takes and his enormous platform. When he backed Baldoni, comparing this situation to the seismic shift in Johnny Depp's defamation battle, fans and media outlets took notice. Rogan says Lively and Reynolds have twisted a serious movement, one meant to protect real victims, into a personal weapon to seize control of a film and destroy Baldoni's reputation.
But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need real motherfuckers to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah.
What drove Rogan to speak up for Baldoni? According to him, it's the sheer weight of Baldoni's evidence. Texts, voice notes, behind-the-scenes clips, proof that contradicts Lively's claims of being harassed. Rather than surrender to non-disclosure deals, Baldoni made it public. If Lively's allegations were true, these receipts wouldn't make sense. Yet from what we see, she once invited Baldoni into her trailer while breastfeeding, only to later claim he intruded. Rogan calls this disgusting, accusing Lively of trivializing real harassment cases.
That it's a bunch of fabrication and lies, and then you see the control that she took over the movie, and I just don't see how any of these reporters are coming to that conclusion.
They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone just bows down.
Because everyone's scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds, A-list, Blake Lively, A-list.
Normally, a star of Lively's caliber and Ryan Reynolds, Mr. Deadpool himself, would be untouchable. The media has long embraced them as a wholesome power couple. But now, Baldoni has launched a $400 million lawsuit alleging defamation, fraud, and extortion. He claims Lively and Reynolds hijacked the film It Ends With Us. She supposedly fired staff, barred Baldoni from seeing footage, and took over as if she owned the production. Reynolds stands accused of aiding and abetting. It sounds like a Hollywood thriller off-screen with legal documents instead of a script.
And then it's like, all right,
Dude,
enough.
he posted the receipts.
Oh,
He's like, oh,
receipts are
remember our
crazy.
text exchange? Bah, bah,
How about she
bah,
told
bah.
him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding?
According to Rogan, this is weaponizing a movement. Lively's allegations echo #MeToo language, which is extremely serious. Yet the text suggests she welcomed Baldoni in ways that contradict her stories. That's why Rogan is outraged. People who've genuinely faced harassment deserve to be heard. If big stars exploit that cause for personal gain, it weakens real victims' voices. The backlash has been fierce, especially for Reynolds. Fans who once loved his Deadpool antics are turning their backs. Social media is full of comments about him being complicit in fake allegations. Some are tossing Deadpool merch in the trash, while Mint Mobile customers complain they don't want to support him anymore. Aviation Gin's social channels have gone quiet, as though trying not to draw attention to the scandal.
This is what you get trying to fucking ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely absurd, and it's not going to work.
Ordinarily, you might expect these flames to die down. Celebrity drama sparks up and fizzles out constantly. Yet something about this resonates more deeply. It isn't every day a narrative of alleged victimhood gets upended by a trove of receipts. Nor is it common for a massive lawsuit to pile on top, naming the New York Times for biased coverage. Rogan's commentary magnifies it, blasting the details to an audience not typically invested in Hollywood feuds. Gym-goers, truckers, office workers. Now they're debating whether Blake and Ryan manipulated the She Shad Had Me Too movement for personal gain. Observers note the parallels to Johnny Depp's defamation case. Initially, many believed Amber Heard. Then, evidence flipped public opinion. Baldoni's supporters say the same pattern is emerging here. He was demonized until he unveiled screenshots and recordings. Rogan's endorsement of Baldoni's side has accelerated that shift. People recall how Depp's fortunes turned when key evidence came to light, and wonder if we'll see a repeat.
Van City Reynolds, who has blocked me, so I can still view his stuff. I just can't post anything. You see, guys, it's all grayed out. Look at that. My feelings are really hurt.
He owned the franchise.
They're fucked.
The whole
man.
thing's crazy.
They're fucked.
And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case
He's going
there,
hard in
too.
the paint.
Meanwhile, Lively and Reynolds seem to be on defense. Rumor has it they're blocking critics on social media, and brand accounts connected to them are following suit. If their innocence were obvious, one might expect them to refute Baldoni's claims head-on. Instead, the hush-hush approach only fuels suspicion. The lawsuit even targets the paper of record for one-sided reporting. That raises hard questions. Did a respectable publication accept Lively's version without verifying her story? The biggest sting for many is the alleged misuse of feminism. Lively is known for championing women's causes, but critics claim she's using that platform to paint herself as a victim while secretly exercising producer-level power on set. She had the authority to hire and fire, to override the director's decisions, and to lock Baldoni out of his own footage. That doesn't sound like someone powerless or cornered. Critics question whether $400 million is overkill. Baldoni's team insists it's warranted because he lost an entire franchise's earnings potential. If Lively and Reynolds truly orchestrated a smear campaign, they sabotaged not just one film, but Baldoni's future. It's grim, but also a watershed moment for accountability. If Baldoni wins, it sends a signal. No matter how famous you are, you can't weaponize serious causes without facing consequences. Meanwhile, more voices are joining Rogan in calling out this double standard. When Lively claimed harassment, many outlets rallied around her. Once Baldoni showed evidence, those same outlets seemed hesitant. Rogan's platform has forced mainstream commentators to address these inconsistencies. People who rarely follow celebrity gossip are suddenly examining texts, hearing Baldoni's side, and realizing the story might have holes. It's reminiscent of when the Depp-Heard narrative flipped from blind acceptance to skepticism. For Lively and Reynolds, this might be a house of cards. Their public images, fun, philanthropic, and witty, could crack under legal scrutiny. The brand accounts going private, the social media blocks, and the silence are all red flags. If they had nothing to hide, a direct challenge to Baldoni's evidence would be the simplest path. The longer they stay quiet, the more people suspect he might be telling the truth. Some wonder if Reynolds got dragged into the mess unwittingly, but the lawsuit suggests otherwise. It paints him as a key figure who helped undermine Baldoni behind closed doors. A once adoring public is now demanding answers. Did he help overshadow Baldoni's legitimate role as director? Did he stand by while Lively pulled the strings? No one knows for sure, because the couple isn't talking. Baldoni's supporters commend him for refusing to cave. Instead of settling or letting his name be smeared, he's fighting back with every document at his disposal. In Hollywood, that's risky. A-listers often rely on NDAs and PR machines to bury controversies, but Baldoni, whether from principle or desperation, chose to go public. He's even suing big media outlets for allegedly championing Lively's side without proper fact-checking. That bold move shows how determined he is to clear his name. If the Depp comparison holds, we may see a major flip in how people view Lively and Reynolds. Once Depp's evidence came out, he turned from pariah to sympathetic figure. Baldoni might experience the same arc, thanks to Rogan shining a light on him. The discussion has spilled out of entertainment news and into mainstream chatter. And when everyday folks pick a side, it can become a cultural moment, just like the Depp-Heard trial. That leads us back to the core question. Did Lively and Reynolds twist Me Too for personal gain? Or is Baldoni rewriting the story to portray himself as the victim? The difference lies in the receipts. If texts, audio, and video prove Lively invited what she later condemned, her case could collapse. And if Reynolds truly orchestrated a smear campaign, he risks losing the trust that once made him so beloved. In the end, this is a stark warning for Hollywood elites. Star status doesn't guarantee immunity from truth. With Joe Rogan amplifying Baldoni's claim, the narrative no longer belongs solely to Lively and Reynolds. People are spotting cracks in the fairy tale, and the $400 million lawsuit suggests Baldoni will expose it all in court. He isn't just seeking cash, he's fighting for his reputation and potentially sparking a broader reckoning in an industry that thrives on controlled narratives. Whether Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds can salvage their brand, or if the damage is done, remains uncertain. Public opinion can be fickle, but once fans feel duped, trust is hard to regain. The Johnny Depp saga proved how quickly the tide can turn when evidence surfaces. If Baldoni's documentation holds up, expect a similar shockwave. Rogan's endorsement makes it even bigger, no longer a minor skirmish, but a headline-grabbing confrontation that could redefine how Hohen,